It is 5:15. I would like to call this meeting to order. Yuma Union High School District Number 70. Board Member Kravitz will lead us in the pledge, and then a moment of silence. Very well. You may be seated. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody again. Very well, let's get started here. First of all, 2.1, we have the board members' discussions, conferences, visitations, legislation, special recognition, donations. Do we have any board member reports?
I do.
Oh, wow, so let's start. How many board members? Let's start from our left.
Travis, you go first.
Yes.
Well, like all of us, I think, sitting up here, we got to have the privilege of joining in on the graduation festivities. I was so honored to be at Yuma High, and it was beautiful and historic and amazing, and I'm so proud of our graduates. So I was pleased to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Yes?
I was able to attend Gila Ridge. It was very nostalgic for me because I have 4 kids that graduated from there, and it was a different perspective to be looking out over the crowd, and I too was very proud of all of the students, of all the speeches we heard. It was just a wonderful night. And then I also was able to attend a little meeting at the tea party with Mr. Brienza, and he, again, solidified why I wanted to be part of this board. He was so professional, and he handled their questions so well regarding Title IX, and it was a very touchy subject, so it was just nice to hear how he handled and be a part of that.
Do you have?
I also attended the Vista High School graduation. I really enjoyed it, seeing all those kids graduated, as well as all the COFA students as well. I don't know if I'm getting older, but I got tired just standing out for 3 hours and shaking over 500 kids' hands, which, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was well worth it. Also, last week, I attended the ASBA Summer Leadership Institute along with Mr. Brianza, and even though it was only a day and a half, we had the opportunity to listen to a great keynote speaker. We also met with other counties as well as local board members here in the county and throughout the state, and share some of the many things that can be benefit as a board in our school districts, such as superintendent board relationship, board members with board members, teachers shortage and retention, etc. By the way, Mr. Rianza is a great, great driver.
Very well, thank you. Board Member Mellon?
Yes, as I had the honor of attending Cibola High School's graduation, it was a beautiful evening, and really proud of all the graduates. I received so many texts and emails from other community members that just wanted to just let me know that they thought it went so well, and it was just really well organized and well done. So that was really nice. And then yesterday we had, with Superintendent Brianza, we had the Yuma Anti-Drug Coalition had our first of many fentanyl forums. So we had a session from 10 to 11, 1 to 2, and 5:30 to 6:30. And we had a lot of great interaction. Our panel consisted of experts from the community, superintendent representing the high school and education, Dr. Magoo from Yuma Regional Medical Center, John Smith, county attorney, the chief of police and fire. And so it was really, I think, really special for the community to see that we are all united and support families, and really want to bring that awareness and that prevention and education to our community. So thank you for yesterday.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually was in the San Luis High School for the graduation. That was actually when I first got elected, the first graduation I went to, and then I was here this last time, and it was pretty amazed, and I guess I'm always amazed with San Luis, all the high schools, so I had a lot of fun, so. With that said, we'll move on now to the superintendent's report. Mr. Brienza.
All right, thank you. As alluded by our board members, we just graduated 2,500 students roughly about a couple weeks ago. And today I'm very happy to have Eric Patton come to the podium, our Chief Communications Officer. For over a decade now, we've had a very close relationship with Helios Education Foundation in various forms. They were part of the original Ready Now Yuma initiative, and now we actually have a wonderful Ready Now Yuma scholarship program that they sponsor, which is $60,000 scholarship, $15,000 a year, renewable over 4 years for students, one from each campus. So I don't want to steal any more of Mr. Patton's thunder, but I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Brienza. As Mr. Brienza alluded to, our relationship with Helios has gone back to over a decade, but we're halfway through a 10-year commitment they have made to provide scholarships for our students to the tune of about $3.6 million over that length of that commitment. This was the 5th year that we have been able to provide scholarship surprises to our students in working with our guest, Grace Smith-Koss from Helios. We have presented students with a giant check and balloons and recognized them in a classroom setting or in front of their peers in some way, and in some cases with their parents, to surprise them and also generate sort of buzz about the scholarship for future seniors. So far, we have been able to provide surprises to now 30 students over the last 5 years. And I'm going to introduce Grace here in a second, and she's going to share sort of the mission, and then we're going to recognize a couple of the students who are here today as well. So as Mr. Brienza said, he doesn't want to steal my thunder. I don't want to steal Helios's at all, because they're the real superstars in all of this. And without further ado, I want to introduce Grace Smith-Koss from Helios.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Patton. It is a pleasure to be here this evening. I'm the Director of Post-Secondary Success Initiatives with Helios Education Foundation. Thank you to the Yuma School Board for having us here, and thank you to President Laura. Helios, as Mr. Patton has said, has collaborated for a number of years with the district, and we would like to thank Superintendent Brienza, your principals, counselors, teachers for encouraging students to apply for this scholarship opportunity. A special thank you to Mr. Patton for really getting the word out to students and counselors, and really for helping with the amazing surprise. He does such a fantastic job. He's done this over the years, through the pandemic, virtually, to make it a really exciting opportunity for the students, and he's shared that information with us over the years. I feel like it's almost a publisher's clearinghouse opportunity that he comes in with the balloons and the big checks, and to see the surprise on the student's face and the family is just amazing and rewarding for us. This scholarship aligns with our mission at Helios Education Foundation to increase post-secondary attainment in Arizona. We have been awarding students since 2019, and since then we have awarded 30 scholarship recipients and feel very privileged to be part of their journey. One of those students who we spoke to recently, Epiphany Jones, she's a graduate from Kofa High School in 2019 and went on to Arizona State University, where she earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in social work. I share Epiphany's story because it represents the impact that the scholarship is having on the lives of students. It opens up the door of opportunities after high school and puts students on the path to a successful career. We're here today to celebrate and congratulate 6 of the Yuma Union High School District graduates. They are this year's recipient of the scholarship, and They were selected from from a pool of over 80 qualified applications. It was not easy for the review committee. You have amazing, amazing students. Each student has been awarded a full tuition scholarship to attend a college or university of their choice. This scholarship, as you mentioned, is worth up to $60,000 over the 4 years, and it helps ensure that students have the financial resources they need to pursue a college education. So please help me to congratulate a few of the students that are here tonight. I will announce all of the students. So Taylor Rice from Cibola High School, and I don't believe Taylor. Trinity Guyden from Gila Ridge High School. Christy Mohardine, I hope I pronounced that right, Christy, from Kofa High School. Come on up. Dana Valdenebro from San Luis High School, J.C. Leone from Vista High School, and Raymond Nunez from Yuma High School. You worked extremely hard in high school, and we want to reward your efforts, so congratulations again to this year's recipients. We are excited for the bright future ahead for each of you. And I know Mr. Patton mentioned that you might want to say a few words. Okay, I'll turn it over to the students.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Christy Mohardin. I graduated from Kofa High School not so long ago. But I remember when I was starting to apply to schools, I was like, okay, how am I going to pay for this? Because obviously it's getting more expensive as the years go by. I have an older brother. His name's Christian. He's 4 years older than me. So as I was going into high school, he was going into college. So I saw how much of a struggle it was for him to pay for college. I saw how financial was an issue with my family because he didn't get a full ride. So my parents had to pay out of pocket for some things, and I made it my goal to not put my parents through that issue again. So I remember applying to so many scholarships and then getting rejected for so many. And then finally, I got to apply to the Helios Ready Now scholarship, and I didn't hear from them for a pretty long time. So I was losing hope. I was like, okay, I didn't get it. But then I got surprised, and I'm just so appreciative of the opportunity. Now I do get to go to college and not have to worry about any financial struggles, and my parents aren't going to have to go through that either, which was my goal in the first place. So I'm just really thankful.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Raymond Nunez, and I'm a recent graduate of Yuma High School over here with Mr. Fritz. I'm more than blessed and glad to have this opportunity, and I've been able to that I was awarded the Healers Ready Now scholarship. And what else can I say? I was actually pretty surprised when I got the news, and I wasn't aware that I had been awarded the scholarship. In fact, Miss Coleman knew a week ahead of time, but she wanted to keep it a surprise. So also I'm just pretty thankful for Miss Coleman. And I don't know if any of you guys were the ones that put the video together of all 6 awardees, but a little kind of interesting thing was that I was actually in my second period in my PTA class, kind of sweaty, and I don't know, it was just a nice moment because I just happened to be sharing my last couple moments with my fellow classmates, seniors. So it was nice, especially with the little balloons and my little backpack. So, long story short, I'm grateful to have been given this opportunity with the Helios Foundation, and I'll be attending Northern Arizona University to further my studies in civil engineering, and that's it. All right, thank you very much.
So we had hoped to have all 6 of the students here today, but I know for sure that a couple of them already went to summer programming at their colleges. And so at this point, I guess that concludes everything, unless you guys had any questions for Grace or myself. Cool. And I want to bring up Christy and her family and Raymond and everybody, and we're going to get a picture with everybody. So if we can have you guys join us for the picture as well. We're embarrassing her family. Right here, guys.
And I don't think Christy mentioned it, but where are you going to college? I'm going to ASU. All right. Congratulations.
All right. Congratulations. Good job. All right.
One thing, Grace, if you could, just thank you very much. A couple years ago, and Christy even mentioned this in not so many words, that it gives our students an opportunity to dream again. A couple years ago, a girl was called her mom and said she could dream again now because of the 60,000. So those things make a difference to our students. So thank you, Helios, very much. And Christy and Raymond, go live your dreams. And Raymond, I was in your PE class that day. You looked fine. You're good. So your reaction was priceless. So thank you very much. And Board President Lara, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item, information items, 3.1, budget update, overview 2022-23 internal budget.
Mr. Brown.
It's all yours.
Well, I don't get to talk about scholarships, but we do get to talk about money. So, hey. Again, what I'll be going over, I'll be covering the Yuma Union High School District 2022-2023 interim budget. I'll be covering our 3 funds tonight, which is our maintenance and operation, our capital fund, and our student activities fund balance. On page 1 of our budget is the first page covering our maintenance and operation with different operational areas covered there, from our salaries to our different school budgets. On the second page is a continuation of that maintenance and operation budget. And at the bottom of that page, we have a total budgeted amount of $90,157,082. As of June 6th, we had spent $69,067,763. So you can see there that the previous month we were at 64% of our budget. We are now at 77% of our budget. On the third page is our capital funding for the district, covering things that last greater than a year, things like our buildings, equipment, furniture, with the different categories there that we break it out into. Of our budgeted $20,519,151, we have spent as of June 7th $4,064,191. So that's an increase from 17% of our budget to 20% of our budget. And the final page is our student activities. So that's our clubs who raise money through fundraising and then use minutes to spend that on the benefit of their student body or whatever they choose. You can see there that the ending cash balance at the end of May was $773,774.26. Over the year, the balance increased for that fund to by $44,176.54. But again, as time goes on, there will be some more spending of things, and the students have left, but we're just getting invoices now and covering those. So are there any questions on the budget?
The fiscal year ends in or start July 1st, or
Yes, so the fiscal year will end June 30th, and our next fiscal year starts on July 1st.
and when do we start receiving money?
As far as like the budget or receipt, because we
Budget,
receive money.
yeah,
I believe that's on tonight, that we'll go over the budget, and then that gets laid out and where we go into the next year. Do you want to speak to that, Ms. Cordery?
We start in July. We actually get an apportionment every month.
Every month
Yes.
after July 1st. Thank you.
May I ask a question? I'm sorry. Yes. The monthly student activities fund, that is different than the booster clubs, correct?
Correct.
So this is money that is raised by the students,
This is raised by our students. They go out and fundraise. They are together as a club,
right?
and then they will get together and vote together on how they want to spend that money. But it is the students' choice. It is their money to do with as they vote.
And they're allowed to carry over, I assume, from one year
Yes,
to
they carry
Okay.
over.
Okay, thank you.
So student clubs are actually, as it is, students. We aren't allowed to have anything to do with the booster clubs, the parent booster clubs. We can't help them with insurance, fundraising, anything like that, completely separate. They have to use a different bank account. They have to use a different tax ID number, and nothing to do with the Yuma Union name or like Yuma High School, Kofa High School. They can use our mascot names, but they're not able to use our actual name because of the tax ID situation.
Perfect. And then when they gift their funds to the school, it's a donation. correct?
Exactly, and that's when you see it as a donation, then it becomes funds for the district to use as it's been donated for.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Quick question here, so, talking about the clubs, so the one in Somerton, which was the Corn Fest for the high school, that's completely separate.
Absolutely separate. It's their money to spend how they choose to. It becomes, once they donate it to us for a designated purpose, then we are obligated to use it for that purpose.
Any other questions? No? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
you.
3.2, Somerton High School update.
So tonight we have Mr. Arviso. Since we talked about the Corn Festival and the upcoming Somerton High School, Mr. Arviso will be giving a short presentation and also, I believe, talking about one of the agenda items later on, our change directive. So, Mr. Arviso.
Yes. Good evening, President Lara, board members, Superintendent Brienza, Associate Superintendent Ms. Cordery. My name is Lucky Arviso. I'm the principal of Somerton High School. And this evening, I'd like to give you a little update and also include Change Directive 2. So I took some pictures. I'm not a professional photographer, so I don't know if the light is correct or anything, but I do want to give you an update on some pictures, and as we're excited to move forward to opening up this school year. So here's the first picture. This is our monument. So I don't know if you remember in the past where there was these renderings, these pictures, these drawings prior to groundbreaking, and this was the monument that was right in front of admin, and this is it. It's there. It's pretty neat to see from a picture to something that's coming to fruition. The next picture, this is our south parking lot. It has been paved and striped and lined, and they are working on the front parking lot this week, so that should be completed here pretty quick as well. So that is one of our classrooms. Starting on June 1st, we were able to start moving in our furniture. This is an example of one of our classrooms, but we're starting to get furniture in different classrooms in different areas of the school. This is our pretty much our courtyard in the middle, in between the dining commons and the learning commons. Again, we're getting our furniture in there. We got picnic tables out there for some outdoor seating, whether it be lunch or breakfast or outdoor activities that we may have. Next picture is our dining commons, again getting furniture inside the dining commons, and obviously the dining commons is better known as the cafeteria, but we're trying to use collegiate terms within our spaces to give it that college atmosphere. That is our tennis courts. Our tennis courts have been completed, and that is on the south side of the campus, south of the football field. And speaking of the football field, we have grass as well, right? So we have grass there, also in the softball field and the baseball field. So we're extremely excited as we move closer to opening this school year. In your packets, you probably have seen the change directive number 2. And to summarize, what that means is that the substantial completion date has been changed from June 1st to July 17th, again, because of some delay of a few items that we have, but that is not going to affect of when we are going to start and we're going to open. We're continuing on our schedule as far as registration is concerned and as far as opening on August 3rd. Along with that, the final completion date will be on September 13th, 9/13, as we move forward. But these dates will not affect us starting on time. So I don't know if you have any questions for me.
I do, Ms. Lara.
Sure.
So when do you expect staff start moving in, like, secretaries, teachers, et cetera?
We are looking at the staff administrators 7/19, July 19th. So, yes. Registration for it, there's soft registration around the 21st. Freshmen usually are around the 24th of July. Yeah, so it's just right on time. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, no other questions?
Everyone will be, our board members will receive an invite this evening to the ribbon cutting, an official invite. You've all been told to save the date of July 19th, which coincides when we have staff moving in, but we're excited about that, so.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well. Item 3.3, paper.co.
So Paper.co is a venture we went down about a year and a half ago. We went out for an RFP, request for proposal, for 24/7 tutoring, where our students would have the ability to access live tutoring 365 days out of the year at any time during the day. And the monies that were used for that used to be utilized for after-school tutoring, and quite frankly, that students were bound to really from 3 to 5 or 3 to 4:30 is when they had access to tutors. So with 24/7, 365 tutoring, which is Paper.co, we now have students who have access at any time in multiple languages in any subject. So I do have our director, B.B. Frazine, here today, and a teacher and a student who will be here to talk about the benefits of Paper.co. So I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Frazine.
Thank you. Good evening, President Lara, board members, and Superintendent Brianza. Mr. Brianza, you kind of encroached on my beginning, but that's okay. I'm going to get a little more granular for you guys. So, Paper.co is a tutoring service that provides our students with expert tutors trained to accommodate different learning styles of our students in any subject and in multiple languages. This year, YUHSD partnered with Paper.co to provide unlimited access to trained tutors so every student can ask questions, work through problems, and grow their confidence. Paper is an equitable tutoring solution that gives every student the chance to succeed. Tutors are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. No limits on length of sessions. Log in as often as needed. Paper provides high-dosage tutoring to ensure students understand the concepts behind their questions. Paper has offered our students live sessions, writing submission uploads that receive detailed feedback, and contests that have fostered curiosity and extensions to our students in mathematics. So today we're here to look at data, the usage from August of 2022 until May of 2023. As well as the ways in which it has impacted students and teachers alike. This is the first year of implementation and usage, and it's my pleasure to share with you some of that year in review. I should have had it on that one when I was talking. Basically, it says everything I was just saying. Just to give you the every student accessibility, we've had teacher pep rallies where teachers came and were able to ask questions, get some professional development on how to use paper in the classroom, and then how to also encourage students to use it outside of the classroom. Community communication through various forms of media. We have easy access within Canvas. There's a button that's visible there. Also in our Google Workspace and any of our docs, slides, and sheets, and also the search engine. So if students are going to the search engine, they also see this little blue P for paper, and they can click on it anytime. Students can talk directly to their tutors, or they can do a talk to text. So we had some students who couldn't really type what they were thinking, so they were able to say what they were thinking, and it would go ahead and translate it for them into writing. And then students can upload images, directions, rubrics from their teachers. Teachers can also upload within their own dashboard and ask tutors. Tutors can be able to see that when they're working with those students. Our schools all had success centers where after school was available for students to go to a safe, quiet place twice a week, and then it was available 24/7, again, in multiple languages to serve every student. All right, so this is the good stuff. We've had 9,365 total activities over the year. That includes 3,600 live help sessions, and I'll show you what a live help session looks like. And that includes 469 of the submissions, review submissions. Those are assignments that may be essays or presentations that were submitted and uploaded, and then a tutor gave a detailed feedback and then suggestions for improvement. We had a contest where we just went ahead and offered it out to all our schools to do a paper math missions, which, as you can see, was a huge hit. 5,200, almost 5,300 missions were completed, and we had 10 students who earned some paper swag from that, so that was really exciting. So if you divide that out over our student population, that's about 0.28 activities per student that we had this year. Time saved in minutes with the sessions, the live sessions, and the review minutes together saved our teachers 2,438 hours. And when we talk about the hours, we're talking about that one-on-one, very personalized, very individualized for the student with feedback. This is a breakdown of that 24/7. So you have your after hours, so after 4 o'clock, and your weekend hours. Those together come up to about 42% of our users used it during that time. That's 42% that we would not have normally been able to assist because it was after hours on weekends. And then we had 58% of that, our student population, use it during regular hours. So here's a breakdown of the math missions, the review center, and the live help sessions, and you can see everyone is on the board. We had a lot of usage, and it depended on what type of activity it was. So this next one will show you by grade level. It's very evened out. According to paper, this is not very common to have an even looking pie chart for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So it was really nice to see that the usage is across the board being used. Again, this is just going to show you more of a breakdown as far as the content that was worked on. So 49% was math, 10% science, 17% in English, and then our other sessions include history, AP psychology, just you name it, it's all the others in that 8%. All right, and then with the essays that were submitted, they break down to essays, college admission writing, other writing projects, creative writing, resumes, scientific writing. So they broke it down for us to see that our students are working on their college their resume, the classwork. So they use it for a variety of reasons. So this is a live help. You might have to click on it itself, and it's just going to run for you. But this is a one transcript for one session for a student who got on at 3 a.m. But you can see the student is in white. They're ready for college, right? So you can see on the left-hand side, that is the student providing, here are the problems I have, I don't know where to start. In the blue, if you were able to see, you would see that it's a Socratic method of asking questions. Where do you want to start? What notes were you given? What do you think the first step would be? And then if a student still struggles, they get even more foundational with, okay, what do you know about this problem? So going through these transcripts for myself, you can get lost and just start getting super excited and kind of choked up with how the kids are learning and how the tutors are so respectful of our kids and vice versa. So this is what a live session looks like, and it's still scrolling for like 3 minutes. So I'll go ahead and move it. Okay. So in the review center, our student will upload a rubric, the essay, a prompt, whatever it is that they're working on, and they will upload it here for our tutors to go ahead and access it. Once they access it, they go through it, they will do some highlights, some notes. Could you click on that? So they'll click on the highlights, and the students will be able to see what notes the tutor gave. But on the left-hand side, that is a detail from a tutor telling the student what the great parts about their writing was, what parts that were looking like they were challenging, and then some food for thought. So if you were to be able to read that, again, it kind of chokes you up just to see like how good the students are getting this really, really detailed feedback. One of our students, Jose Covarrubias, is not here today, but he is one of our 78 hours in user. He used it for his AP class in psychology, his SEI class, for SEI 2, I believe. And so he was really detailed on how he used it, how exciting it was to use it, and getting that feedback. For him, he kept going back because it was 24/7 and because it was reliable and secure. And that's how he described it. It was a reliable and secure format. And then for the future, he wanted people to start using it more. So he said it's a kind of like a diamond in the rough that needs to be put out there. So great feedback for us. So this next student is Elizabeth Trainer from Kofa High School, and she's going to share a little bit about her experience.
Good evening, Board President Laura, board members, Superintendent Mr. Brianza, and Associate Superintendents. My name is Elizabeth Trainer, and I'm going into my junior year at Kofa High School, and I'm also enrolled at Arizona Western College. My experience with Paper.co has been overall positive and extremely helpful to get me through classes both at Kofa and at the college. I tend to work better at night, and it helps fit into my schedule. And since Paper.co has 24-hour help, the program is super convenient for students. My passion is in math and science, and my parents aren't always familiar with those subjects that I need, and I get some help from Paper.co. I always have good interactions with the tutors. The tutors that I work with are all respectful and willing to help. Some features that I think are super helpful are that you can screenshot specific items or questions that you have problems with, like worksheets and such. And then you can put them into the chat box and talk. The tutors never gave me the answers, but they'd help me work through the problems and come to conclusions by myself. Some other uses were going over questions that I missed on a test to review and stuff, or simply just fact checking questions I was iffy on. And I would insert problems into the chat, and the tutors would ask me what steps what the steps were until I solved it, and they often encouraged me a lot. This year I took 2 AP courses, one being AP Physics, and some of the questions I had struggles on. but the teachers were always willing to help, even if, because like in the classes, you get like really engaged, especially with AP classes, and you don't have like a lot of time to like sit down and work on things if you're like falling behind on a certain objective. So you like, so paper.com and .co is always like there to help. Sorry. I kept coming back to paper.co because of how inviting the tutors were and how they helped like explain questions to me that I was like struggling with. They stick with me to the very end of the problem, and it's an incredible resource that has helped me more times than I can count. It's something I love to use, and it's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. I'm also going to invite Ms. Sylvia Gaxiola. Her students were high flyers with the usage in her SEI 2 class.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having me here. It's a lot easier to be in a classroom and talk to students and talking to people in a panel, so I'm really nervous right now because I usually don't tend to do this. I was out on a trip overseas, and I had to cut it short because I had to attend an important event, and I traded this for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, I think. Yes. So, yeah, so she owes me a Starbucks coffee. Anyway, I'm here to tell you that in the beginning, when we started hearing about paper.com, we didn't really think about how helpful this was going to be, especially for my population. So I actually work with levels 1 and 2, which is the beginning stage of learning, acquiring the language. And so I attended one of the rallies, and I was like listening to the presenter and going on and on and on, and I'm thinking like, well, yeah, this sounds great, but what about my students that no habla inglés? And so what happens is I kind of raised my hand and I said, well, what about that? And I said, oh, no problem. We have, tutors that can speak other different languages. And I was like, oh, if that's going to be the case, then yes, I'm in. So I went back to the classroom and I invited all my students. Okay, here we're going to go, and everybody's going to log in, and we're going to do a class together, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I got in first, and I said to the tutor, I am actually a teacher, I'm not a student, but can you please act as the tutor, and I will act as a student. You're the tutor, I'm a student, and I'm going to show them step by step what they need to do. So I did that on both my classes, my SEI 1 and my SEI 2, and I saw the interaction, and when we did it, because I had a large class of SEI 1, we didn't have enough Spanish-speaking tutors, so some of my students had to wait, and I had to kind of tell them, like, hey, you partner up with somebody else and then look at the interaction. And so they started asking the questions, and they said, bring a math problem because it's one of the easiest ones to kind of go over. And so they started talking, and some other students, like Jose's my student, actually, he used it for his AP psychology, and I was like, ay, Jose. So yeah, I was very happy that these kids can actually have the support 24/7. Hopefully he's not the one at 3 in the morning, but yeah. I said that they have the support not only for their SEI or their English classes, but also for the other classes that they don't necessarily have that extra support. A lot of the teachers don't speak other, they're just English, and so the kids went in there, and in their language would type in the questions at the beginning, but now they can actually like speak it, and then it comes into a text and it goes on. So as for myself, I made it part of an assignment. So before they turn in some assignments, they have to run it through paper tutor, and I started to see the improvement. And so I was like, okay, so next year I'm going to make sure that every time I do an assignment that they go through it until they get that concept of what they need to do every time they have to turn in the assignment, until I can see that they no longer probably need it, but I doubt they will always need it. Not only for my English class, but they will need it for all the other classes as well. So that's been very helpful too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And going through those transcripts with our students who were asking for help in their native language, our tutors would respond with, okay, grab your dictionary and your thesaurus, let's go. And so it was really, really awesome to watch and just watch that interaction between the two. All right, so at the end of the session, students have the opportunity and option to give a feedback So these are just some of the pieces that some of our students have been giving feedback about their tutors. Some of them say, you know, give them a raise. It's kind of funny to read these. But our students, you know, when they are closing out a session, they are so respectful, and it's just such a great representation of our district. So moving forward, this summer, we are just kind of cleaning it up a little bit, getting it ready for the new year. We're going to have more pep rallies so our teachers can come and get professional development on how to see personalization in the classroom with it. And then we're going to make sure we're putting it back out there for our student awareness, parent nights in English and in Spanish, and then continue our marketing. And then we have planned to check in monthly just to look at how that data comes out. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frazine. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. I find this fascinating. And the question I have is it like a call center? Where are the teachers? I mean, they take calls in the middle of the night.
They're all over Thailand. I mean, you name it, they're across the world. And so it may be daytime for them when it's 3 o'clock in the morning for us. All the tutors go through a rigorous background check, and they also have to take a very difficult test in the content area in order to teach it, in order to be able to tutor on it. So it just depends. It's random, so the students can get on, sign in, and then within 10 seconds, they'll be connected with a tutor.
So are all of our teachers in our district trained to teach our students how to use paper.co?
Yes, so we have given professional development. We've also provided a how-to for our teachers, how to use it in the classroom, how to present it in the classroom, and how to encourage it outside of the classroom.
I, like Mr. Lara, I think this is pretty awesome. And I love hearing the story from you. Thank you for sharing of how you utilized it. And the tutoring method is going to take them in every aspect that we hope to prepare our students in, career, college, and community prepared. So it's great. It helps all of us. But I do have some sort of nuts and bolts questions I was hoping to get some answers to. When they log in, let's say at 3 in the morning, and then the next day they log in at 2 in the morning, like about the same time frame, are they reconnecting with the same tutors?
It is a different tutor.
It is. And they have notes, I assume, that they share so that when Johnny
Yes.
comes back
So
on,
a student comes with their own account. So any interactions they've had, other tutors can look and see what they did the time before. If the student says, you know, a few weeks ago I talked to someone about XYZ, they can actually pull up those transcripts.
Okay.
Teachers can also go in on their dashboard of their students for the day and actually look at those transcripts to see how that went. And then administrators too. So everybody can see those interactions.
So when you say interactions, because I'm old school, I thought at first it was on the telephone, but it's
Right.
not, right?
No, it's texting.
Okay, that took me a little bit to
Yeah.
sort of grasp. I like the usage hours breakdown. That was really, this is all great information to have, but the usage hours, regular hours, is it available during school time? Like what if somebody just decides to go off topic while you're in class and, oh my gosh, my English assignment's coming up. Is that available to them or do they shut it down?
So we have the students, it's available to them all day long. So during class time, teachers will make it a designated day or designated class period. It just depends on how they use it. We have a lot that are not using it because they don't know how to maintain it yet. But we have professional development coming this year to show how a student can get one-on-one tutoring while the teacher is helping maybe another student and just kind of moving around the room where everyone is getting the attention that they need for what they're working on.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Internet access. What if we have some students who don't have internet access? I know during COVID and when we were doing remote learning, we were offering a lot of tech support. Are we still able to offer that?
Yes, we
Okay.
do still have the hotspots available.
Perfect.
So if students need them, our teachers do ask students if that's a need of theirs, and so they can get it to them.
Thank you. And last, 2 questions. I did not even recognize that this was available for dual enrollment courses, but it is, correct?
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Actually, Lizzie taught me that because she used it this summer before it was actually open. So they gave us a trial in the summer, and she just started using it for her AWC Spanish class.
That's so cool. And then what about for test prep? Do they offer any of those tutoring sessions for our students?
Absolutely,
for SAT,
yes.
ACT?
And they're only getting better every time. We just had another meeting with them where they're offering other aspects of the tutoring service that are going to reach into our ECAP with our counselors and really pushing our students with that college career community. And so there's a lot of open pieces there, and then ACT is on their list of tutoring that they have. So the tutors are well aware of what testing we use.
That's wonderful. I as a mom of some recent graduates of our great school districts, I am very interested to see how the parents learn of this. So I'm excited for those little pep rallies. Thank you.
Yeah, and just one more added piece. This is really helping our students who are used to texting in a very shorthand version. It's causing them to really go into the depth of the words, and so we're seeing that also being beneficial for communication for our kids.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fascinating. Anybody else?
I do.
Yes.
I have a couple of questions, and I'm also old school, and I'm so used to pretty much every school district had after-school tutoring. So we're not gonna have any more in-person tutoring, like after school?
Teachers have always had the opportunity to tutor on their own after school, so that is always an option. And then we do have some success centers, I think is what the campuses were terming them, where there are adults, teachers that they can go see as well. So it's not as widespread as it used to be, but those dollars have been put towards paper.co, which with the data that we've been getting back, it's a better use of our dollars, but there's still in-person tutoring available.
And also, the other question is, do you have any kind of data that all those kids that participate in paper tutoring services, most of the kids that get some tutoring is because they're struggling with the class. Do we have any record, and out of those hundreds of kids that participate in tutoring, are they passing the class that are doing tutoring
I'm so
for?
glad you asked that question. We actually we're part of an impact study with paper tutoring, and they have taken, they were working with our data, and they have come up with some feedback for us, but we're waiting for them to get a little bit more granular with our subgroups, and then letting us know. They did have just a preliminary that our students who did tutoring did better on the ACT. And so we are going to have a little bit more detail on that. We're just waiting for the impact study to come back completely.
Can you give us feedback on that when you get that info, please?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody else? No? Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. It's fascinating. Very fascinating. Thank you. There we go. Very well. Next item on the agenda, 3.4, first read of policy.
In your packet, you'll see first read of policy, which we'll revisit in our next board meeting. So feel free to read it. Any questions regarding that?
Okay, very well. Thank you very much. Next item is call to the public. I don't see anything here. Call to the public. Any person wishing to speak may present this information at this time only. All presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and a maximum of 50 minutes on each subject. Before you begin to speak, identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name. Comments by the members of the governing board in response to any public comment will be limited to asking staff to review the matter or requesting rescheduling of the matter for further consideration or a later date. I don't have anything, any request, but is there anybody from the public that wants to come up and say anything? No, none? Very well. Okay, thank you. Next item, the consent items. On the consent items, on the personnel, we need to pull number 35 and number 245 on the personnel for the consent. Other than that, everything else. and I will entertain a motion.
I move that we, the governing board, accept the personnel submitted with the exception of line number
35?
35 and
245.
245.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Kravitz. Is there a second? Second by Board Member Craddock. Do we have any discussions or questions? Comments? None? Very well. We'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor, raise their hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Very well. Action items. We have a long list here. It's going to be an interesting evening here. Consideration to accept donations. I always like this one. So let me start off with this. This is, we'll start off with Cibola High School. Gowan Company donated $250 to Cibola High School FFA Club and $250 to the Drama Club for their help at the Gowan Company meeting in November. The total value of the donation was $500. Yuma Education Foundation donated $300 to Cibola High School Drama Club for their help at the Teacher of the Year banquet. Lady Raiders Volleyball Booster donated $2,359.79 to the Cibola High School volleyball program to be used as needed for volleyball expenses. Mr. and Mrs. Brienza donated $250 to the Cibola High School Culinary Arts Program. Way to go, Mr. Brienza. Copa High School, the Royal Corps of Yuma Football Booster Club donated Crimson football uniforms, set of 60, to the Copa High School football program. The total value of donation is $5,833.75. Reichman Ag, I think I pronounced that correctly. Products Incorporated donated custom windscreens for the Copa High School baseball varsity bleachers and the Hall of Fame windscreens for the left field on the varsity baseball field. The total value of the donation is $2,476.80. Mr. Larry Shelley donated Copa High School letter jacket to the Copa High School Athletics Department to display in the trophy case. The total value of this donation is $300. Gila Ridge, Mr. Daniel Phillips donated 2 Vicks Zeno football helmets, matte black, to the Gila Ridge High School football program. The total value of this donation is $900. Somerton High School, Somerton Youth Fund donation, $6,300 to Somerton High School to be used for the athletic uniforms. Somerton Education, Inc. donated $5,500 to Somerton High School to be used for athletic uniforms. Yuma Union High School School District, Ms. Rory Berg Finalsite, I think I pronounced that correctly, donated 100 Amazon cards to the Yuma Union High School Communications Department to be used to purchase the camera, equipment, and bags. So that is a nice list there. So now, if we have a motion to approve the donations.
I move that we, the governing board, accept the red donations with thanks.
We have a motion by Board Member Kravitz, second by Board Member Gonzalez. Everybody approving signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes and carries. I guess that's one of the parts I like about the donations. Very well. 6.2. Let me just find this here. And 1 minute. Give me a minute, folks. This is long. We'll get it. 6.2. Okay, very well. This is the approved revised facilities rental fees, the 6.2 item on the agenda. So this is the, to revise the facility rental fees for the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the revised facilities rental fees for the 2023-2024 school year.
Very well, we have a motion by Board Member Craddock,
Second.
second by Board Member Gonzalez. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. All right, well. 6.3, delegate position. Consideration to modify delegation of procurement authority. So this is to, yeah, well, anyways, Associate Superintendent until revoked for modify the further governing board action. So you read it. Is there a motion to approve 6.3?
So move.
A motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Second by Board Member Craddock. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.4. Consideration to approve the revised job description. So this is a job description as indicated in the background information. Is there a motion?
Job description indicated in the background
Very
information.
well, we have a motion by Board Member Mellon,
Second.
second by Board Member Gonzalez. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 6.5. Consideration to approve the revised 2023-2024 compensation packet. And I know there's a it's a difference here in the description. A second. There we go. Okay, very well. So this is a revised employee compensation packet for the 2023-2024 school year. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised employee compensation package for 23-24 school year.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Board Member Mellon. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.6, consideration to authorize McCarthy Building Company, Inc. Change Directive Number 2, additional construction of Somerton High School. This is 6.6. Do we have a motion on item 6.6?
I move to authorize McCarthy Buildings Company Incorporated change directive number 2 for the additional construction of Somerton High School.
I second.
I have a motion by Board Member Craddock and a second by Board Member Kravitz. I lost my spot. Oh, okay, item 6.6. Since we have a motion, do we have, there we go, any information by McCarthy on this item?
We have John here if there's any questions, Mr. Gubesky, but essentially, it's just, with some issues, I turn my mic on, I apologize. We do have Mr. Gubesky here from McCarthy if there's any specific questions, but because of maybe some supply chain issues and some change dates that were in the original agreement and the change directive 1, we do have to legally make sure that they are memorialized in change directive 2.
Okay, very well. Since we have a motion and a second,
I have a question before we vote.
yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
What was your recommendation for the, to vote,
Oh,
the action?
It's actually, the recommendation is to make the changes.
Because I didn't, according to what I'm reading here, is just to recommend the government to authorize Mr. Brianza to execute the change directive 2 for the continued construction of the Somerton High School.
Correct.
Yeah, so that will be the action, I mean, the motion, right?
Yes,
To give him the.
to make them, to authorize them to make a change order.
to
Correct,
Brianza.
Mr. Brianza?
Yeah.
It's a change order.
Like Board Member Gonzalez said, it's giving me the permission to essentially sign off on the change directive to make it official.
Correct.
Thank you,
No,
Mr. Gonzalez.
right. Yes, I was just asking if from McCarthy, if anybody had a question, so nobody, unless somebody has a question.
No, the only thing I wanted to make sure was truthful, I found in here about the price not changing. So, there's no price increase.
No, sorry, thank you. Yeah, no price increase.
Thank you.
That made Ms. Cordery very happy as well.
I know, right? Makes all of us happy.
No price increase, that's good, very well. Very well, then, everybody in favor, signify
Aye.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Very well. 6.7, consideration to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Somerton for School Resource Officer. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Somerton for the school resource officer.
By roll-
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Board Member Mellon. Everybody in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very well, motion passed. 6.7, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
6.8. Consideration to approve the 2023 to 2026 intergovernmental agreement for the Yuma High School District 1, Arizona Western College, and NAU of the Yuma Educational Consortium. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the IGA for the Yuma Education Consortium for 23, 24.
Do we have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez?
It's 26, 2023,
To 2026.
23, 24?
26.
I mean, 23, 26.
26.
Second.
It's a 3-year.
And we have a second by Board Member Mellon. Do we have any, on this item, do we have any questions for anybody? No questions? Everybody good? Very well. We'll proceed to vote. Everybody's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.9, consideration to approve the 2023-2026 intergovernmental agreement for the Yuma Educational Materials Management Consortium.
I move that we approve the 2023-2026 intergovernmental agreement for the Yuma Educational Materials Management Consortium.
Well, we have a motion by Board Member Mellon,
I second that.
second by Board Member Gonzalez. Any discussion, questions? No? Very well, we'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Very well. On 6.10, we're gonna pull 6.10, and we're pulling 6.10. Is that gonna be brought up to another meeting, or?
Yes, that should come in July, or possibly August. There was with our partners, with 3 or 4 different entities that we work with, it's being pulled based upon a recommendation that NAU had for us to make a change in it.
Okay, very well. So it's full. So then we'll proceed to 6.11, consideration to approve 2023-2026 intergovernmental agreement for the Yuma Educational Technology Consortium.
I move that we approve the 2023-2026 IGA for the Yuma Educational Technology Consortium.
We have a motion by Board Member Kravitz. Second by Board Member Craddock. Do we have any discussion? Questions? None. We'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.12.
Board President Lara, I just want to, if we could go back to the transportation IGA, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that will not affect our business and transportation. It's just that we have to delay it because of a change. So
Okay.
it won't affect what we do with our buses.
Okay, very well.
And Mr. Gonzalez, did you have a question?
Well, we already voted on it, but because it's in the agenda, we need to postpone it for the next, we still got to vote to postpone the item for the next meeting, because it's already in the agenda.
Well, we can do that. Okay, very well. Then, do we have a motion to postpone for the next meeting, item number 6.10?
So move, Mr. Lara.
We have a motion by Board Member Gonzalez,
Second.
second by Board Member Mellon to postpone the item on the agenda. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed? Okay, motion carries, so it will be postponed. 6.12, consideration to approve the 2023-2026 intergovernmental agreement with the Yuma Union High School District 1, Arizona Western College, NAU for Yuma, Educational Access Television, and Public Relations. That was a long one. Very well, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the 2023-2026 IGA for the Educational Access Television and Public Relations.
Second.
We have a motion by Board Member Craddock and a second by Board Member Mellon. That was a long one. Do we have any discussions, questions, comments? None. We'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Very well. 6.13, consideration to approve the proposed school district budget for 2023-2024. This will be a good one. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the proposed school district budget for 2023-2024 school year.
We have a
Second.
We have a motion by Board Member Craddock and second by Board Member Mellon. Do we have any questions? Yes.
I would like to hear a little bit about it, if
Yes.
I may.
You got it. I just happened to be prepared.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with every detail on every page, but I do want to just highlight each page to give you a general idea of what it is that this budget contains. We are happy we finally have a budget. That's a good thing. So the first page, and I will kind of, you'll see a lot of duplication, and I want to take a minute to explain what that is. So on the first page, for example, you'll see tax rates are the exact same for fiscal year 23 and 24. The reason for that is we haven't set tax rates yet in our county, so once we do, when we come back with a revision, you'll see those numbers actually change to what the actual tax rates are. The same thing with our estimated revenues. What you'll see consistently throughout here is we assume zero growth, which is not true, but for when we propose the budget and adopt the budget, it's based on zero growth in our district, and it's also based on zero carryover, which again is not true. We will definitely have carryover. So that's why you'll see numbers a little bit lower than what we'll actually expect at the end of 2024 for that. So the first, and the other thing I wanted to highlight on the first page, when you go down, you'll see average teacher salaries. So you'll see a 4% increase, and that's based on what our raises were that you had approved at a previous meeting. I would like to just point out over the last 6 years for our teachers, that's an increase of 37% that we've given in raises. So we've made that definitely a priority in our district to make sure that we're giving money to our employees as best that we can, and still staying solvent, of course, to do that. But anyway, so 37% is a big celebration for our teachers, even though it's 4% this year. We would always love for it to be more, but we also have a school to build
Can I make
and to pay for.
a quick question before we proceed? Compared to other school districts, how are we doing with salaries for teachers?
You know, it varies year by year, definitely. Some years we give more, some years other districts do. I would say over that 6-year period, we've exceeded anyone, at least in Yuma County.
We have.
Yes.
Okay.
Because in addition to that, the other part of that is we do our what's called Classroom Site Fund, our prop money, our Prop 301. We also refer to that as. We, in our district, give 100% of that, with the exception of a few positions, to our teachers, back to our teachers. So for us, that can mean an extra $13,000 or $14,000 to the teachers on top of, they also have an instructional improvement fund that they get a payment of maybe $500 to $600. And also we have a Prop 123 that's $750 to our teachers. None of that is included in that teacher average of $66,174. So our teachers are coming in as an average, you know, they're pushing $80,000.
Really?
On top of if they're coaching or if they have stipends for other things, other opportunities in our district. So, yes, I think we're doing really well in our community and our state, actually.
Good. All right. It's good news.
So our second page is contact information. Again, very general, who does what in our district. The third page, even though it's the third page, it does say page 1 of 8, which is a little confusing, but the thing I would just tell you there is this is our maintenance and operations budget. It is a decrease from last year. You can see the third column from the right. Last year our budget was $94 million. This year our proposed is $87 million. Again, no carryover, flatline student count. That number will go up. This is just so we're spending actual money that is allocated to us for this year. So that's a very conservative approach to this. But as we have money set aside for building Somerton and staffing it and things like that, we'll see those. We want to make sure we cover all of that and then have contingency on top of that.
May I ask a question? Yes. This is a practice that we've been doing yearly, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So then page 2 of 8, this is more information, this is basically for our special education funds. So this is our maintenance of effort to make sure that we increase the money that we allocate to our special needs students. We have to at least spend the same amount or more in order to be able to get those federal dollars. So that's what this page is for. Again, you'll see a number of teachers flatline because we don't know yet. As we get more information and we do a revision, you'll see that number change. Page 3 of 8, this is our classroom site fund dollars that I was referring to, also Prop 301. That rate has increased this year. It's also based on weighted student count, which is based on our special needs. We get extra weight for a special needs student, so that's what's called a weighted student count. It's not just bodies. So we get actually we get a dollar amount of $758 per weighted student count. So that's where those funds come from, and again, go back to our teachers in the form of performance pay. Page 4 of 8 is unrestricted capital. Again, you've seen that looks like a really dramatic decrease. It goes from 20.8 million to 7.9 million. We have a significant amount of contingency in there that's not included in this that we have set aside for Somerton, so that's why there's a big difference as we do our revision. When we finish this year out and we know what that exact dollar amount is for carryover, that amount will go up in a revision.
How much of that contingency money we can use percentage-wise
This year or for next year?
for next year?
It'll be a significant amount if we're able to do our performance gym that we would like to do at Somerton. That's a good chunk of that will be set aside for that for sure. That'll be pretty much all of our contingency from this year. We'll be building again, of course, on next year's budget. So kind of start over again, getting ready for the next one. Okay.
So it's lucky.
Page 5 of 8. So for that one, that is all our other funds. So if you look on the left-hand side, it's kind of in two columns, the left and right. The left-hand side is our grant funds. And so that's pretty self-explanatory depending on what our allocations are. It does include ESSER funds. And then it does. Okay. Absolutely does. And then on the right-hand side are just miscellaneous cash balance accounts, so things that are very specific that we have to put funds in for the topics that are on there. And then the last two pages are just calculation pages, and then after that you have a summary page that's a summary of everything that I have just explained. I know that was a quick overview. I'm happy to go through in more detail if you have questions, even outside of this meeting, but if you have specific questions, I can address those now as well.
Every year, I'm sorry, Mr. Langer.
Go ahead, Mr. Gonzalez, go ahead.
Do you use the same format every year for the budgeting, like the forms and everything, you just cut and paste, or?
The forms are actually generated from the Auditor General. They provide the forms to us, and so they wait for the legislative action to close, and then they have to, depending on what happens with that, they have to make adjustments to the forms. Then they issue the forms to us, and then we're able to do our budget from that.
I want to make sure I understand this. Unrestricted capital outlay.
Okay.
Okay, unrestricted.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, by that definition, you can use that money.
So that can only be used for things that typically last more than a year. It's our capital items. It's like furniture, it's buses, things that aren't used, like tangible things. That would be your maintenance and operation. These are things that last longer.
That last long. Okay, the word unrestricted kind of caught my attention, but it is restricted.
It's restricted in the, yes.
Okay. Very well.
That's a yes and no question right there.
Gotcha. Very well. Does anybody have any other questions? Nothing else?
Looks good. Good job.
Looks good. All right, good job. Then we'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.4, consideration to approve the 2023-2028 intergovernmental agreement with Greater Phoenix Management Council, Arizona Educational Management Council. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Board Member Kravitz, second by Board Member Gonzalez. Do we have any questions, comments? None? We'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.15, consideration to appoint Yuma Union High School District representative to the Education Foundation Board for the 2023-2024 school year. So on this one, I want to make sure I get this right, Mr. Brienza. We have to appoint a representative.
Yes, I think per their bylaws, it must be done every year. So every year.
Or it should be elected, I think.
What's that?
Elected instead of appointed, right? So the
Well,
board.
yes, I guess you guys are electing to appoint me if we're going with semantics. So feel free to vote as you wish.
Very well.
I move that we approve Mr. Tim Brienza to serve as a board member for the Education Foundation of Yuma County for the 2023-2024 school year.
I'll third.
So we have a motion by Board Member Mellon and a second by Board Member Craddock. Bro, any questions? Nothing? Very well, we'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And raise your right hand. Aye, I forgot to mention that. Opposed? Motion passes. 616, consideration to approve new board trustee to the Employee Benefit Trust Board. Do we have a motion?
I move that we appoint Gina Thompson to the Yuma Union High School District Employee Benefit Trust Board of Trustees.
I second.
We have a motion by Board Member Mellon and a second by Board Member Craddock to appoint Gina Thompson to the Board Employee Trust. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? She gets it. Motion passes. 617, consideration to approve the 2023-2024 student fee schedule. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the 2023-2024 student fee schedule.
Second.
We have a motion by Board Member Kravitz and second by Board Member Gonzalez. Do you have any questions?
I just had one question, if
Yes.
I may. The items that are in blue are, they're new classes, I assume?
Yeah, as we add programming in classes or different levels, you'll see some examples like Business Management 3 or Biomedical Technology 3. There are fees attached to that.
And it says in the description that the fees are set by its vendors. What does that mean?
Some of the fees are set by the respective vendors, so if it's a cost of a test, or from, for example, I'm paging over here, sorry. Some of the level 3 classes, there's tests that they have to take, and the cost is created by the vendor, so that will cover the cost for some of those tests.
So these student fees cover those tests. That's not in addition to, it's not an additional fee.
No, and our students, like, for example, even though, and sometimes the fees for, by the vendors for the tests will go up, we actually will not charge them more. And then there's some testing fees, like, for example, Advanced Placement or Cambridge, those are set by, and PSAT, those would be set by the vendor, and those may go up occasionally from 16 to 17, but for the AP courses and some of our CTE courses, those fees that are set here, if the vendor changes it, we still cover the cost.
And there are policies in place to help families in need.
Yes, we do have funds available for those. So any student that wishes to take a test and they don't have funds, we find a way to make it work for every student.
Thank you, Mr. Brianza.
All right, good. Any other questions? None, then we will proceed to vote. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 618, consideration to approve the revised 2022-2023 compensation packet. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the revised employee compensation packet for the 2022-2023 school year.
I will second.
We have a motion by Board Member Mellon and second by Board Member Kravitz to approve the compensation packet. Any questions? None? Very well, then we'll proceed to vote. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes, carries. Number 7.1, next board meeting. Regular board meeting Wednesday, July 12th, 2020, 5:15 in the Professional Services Room. So this will be for the next board meeting. Other than that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Board Member Craddock. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody opposed.
Thank you for staying, staff.
Yes.
Yes.